This time last year, momentum was building for a royal commission into Australia's biggest financial institutions. Shocking revelations about the financial planning scandals at the Commonwealth Bank and Macquarie Group threw light on a poorly regulated sector riddled with fraud. Today, serious problems at another industry giant have been laid bare. At a Senate committee hearing in Sydney, the managing director of the firm IOOF has struggled to explain why allegations of fraud and insider trading at his company were never reported to regulators. Yet, as Pat McGrath reports, in Canberra there now appears to be almost no appetite for a broader inquiry into the industry.
In the last week, Australians may have been reading about the goings-on at a company called IOOF.
It's one of the country's biggest financial institutions.
This is a company that has $150 billion worth of funds under management and some 650,000 clients. But today, there is a black cloud hanging over IOOF. We now have very concerning allegations of insider trading, front-running and even cheating on exams. And instead of
just before federal parliament broke for the long winter recess, National Senator John Williams rose to name top IOOF managers and accuse them of breaking rules designed to protect small-time investors.
Tonight I name the head of research of Bridges, Peter Hilton, as a person who is allegedly engaged in front-running where he conducted trades on at least 53 occasions over some 20 years. I can show you a document where the chairman, Roger Sexton, and two directors of IOOF were alerted in early February this year that there were breaches of common law.
I now declare open this hearing of the Senate.
Today, John Williams and other members of the Senate Economics References Committee got the chance to grill the company's management directly.
Christopher Kelleher, Managing Director, IOOF Holdings Limited.
IOOF employs about 2,000 people around the country, but its managing director was left to explain his company's actions alone.
What's happened to the share price of your company since these revelations?
It's declined in response.
Okay, by how much?
Probably over 10%.
How much, sorry?
Probably over 10%.
Over 10%. Is this a crisis, Mr. Keller?
No, not at all. I mean,
10% drop in your share.
The allegations against IOOF managers have come from a whistleblower, a former employee who doesn't want to be identified. At the heart of his allegations is that the firm's head of research, Peter Hilton, engaged in an illegal practice known as front-running.
Front-running occurs when someone who engages in financial services business takes advantage of, at that stage, confidential research that they've undertaken and use that research to, in a sense, benefit the financial services firm itself.
In Peter Hilton's case, it's been alleged that he used the information to make share trades on behalf of a relative. He was asked to attend today's hearing, but he's been on leave since the claims surfaced.
And finally, comprehensive...
Today, Chris Kelleher defended IOOF's handling of Peter Hilton's alleged conduct.
And he was disciplined.
Okay. Was he given a first and final warning?
He suffered a demotion, he suffered loss of bonus, and he was given a first and final warning.
Okay. Was that his only ever first and final warning? Has he received other first and final warnings?
In relation to that matter, yes.
But it turns out that wasn't Peter Hilton's only first and final warning.
No, he'd been given a first and final warning back in 2008, 2009.
Okay. What's a first and final warning? I must have misunderstood what a first and final warning is.
Well, I have to rely on what the HR department tells me, but my comprehension of a first and final warning is that it relates to a specific conduct. So it's not a cumulative event.
So I can get a whole series of first and final warnings for other things that I've done? For different... Sorry, I'm a layman here, so my understanding of first and final warning means if you mess up again, you get sacked. I mean,
Senator, in this regard, so am I. I'm instructed that a first and final warning in relation to different conduct is not cumulative. So
IOOF decided against reporting the allegations to the Australian Securities and Investments Commission.
If there was a suggestion of front-running, why didn't the management of IOOF report that to ASIC?
Because there was no evidence of front-running detected.
Chris Kelleher says he can't remember when he was told about the front-running allegations.
either the people below you were not passing on this information or not raising these as concerns, or you were made aware and decided not to act until it became a Fair Work matter. Now, it's either one of those two things.
I don't
Which
agree.
one?
I think, once the matter is raised and then we want it independently...
but it had been raised before December. You're saying...
I'm just saying I can't recall specifically. I mean,
okay, but if it was raised with you beforehand, isn't that even kind of more concerning, Mr. Kelly, that you didn't act?
Well, as I said, I'd have to check my recollection, but I take the matter seriously.
Almost all Australia's big financial institutions have been implicated in the scandal that has rocked the financial planning industry. In June last year, a Senate inquiry recommended a royal commission into the sector after revelations about fraud and a cover-up at the Commonwealth Bank.
The conduct of a number of rogue advisors working in CFPL was unethical, dishonest, well below professional standards, and a grievous breach of their duties.
But now neither Labor nor the Coalition want a royal commission. The man who blew the whistle at the Commonwealth Bank thinks both parties should change their position.
I think the problem is, logistically, these things are very difficult to investigate. My own belief is that we won't get to the bottom of what's going on in the whole financial services sector until we have a royal commission. This is just the latest shoe to drop. It's only a matter of time before another one does.